Okay, I guess I'm live. Um, Hi, how are you today? Um, I want to discuss something that's been kind of bothering me, a narrative that usually gets unanswered, or at least for many years I thought were pretty much unanswered. And it's just something that I felt like needs to be addressed. And what I'm talking about is this absurd notion that the right are the ones that are ready to debate the left, and the left are just too afraid or too frightened by the power and the logic of their arguments. It's so laughable. And when push comes to shove, it is the right which ends up being afraid to debate the left. When you have an actual leftist ready to debate the right and take them on, they don't know what to do, and they're the ones that cower. And okay, what I want to show is this monstrosity by Gavin McGinnis, and I'll comment in a moment. Hold tight. Give me a second.
Anna Kasparian has a show called No Filter that no people watch, and she's got some videos. Her videos usually get about 1,000 views. But she's a liberal, and I tried to get her on my show, or I should say, the company that I hired to get guests tried to get her on my show. I subcontract that out. I don't have time to sit there trying to get the squirrels to nibble. But it really is like that with liberal guests. Folks, in case you don't know, if you have a show that is not 1,000% Antifa, you cannot get liberal guests. Everyone pays liberal guests if you're conservative. Tucker Carlson, you ever wonder how he gets all those libs and Antifa guys on his show? He has to pay them money. They don't like going on right-wing shows because they tend to lose.
Okay. Okay, I'm back. Let me just rebuttal Gavin McGinnis. Bullshit. That is absolute bullshit. Um, you get a good intellectual leftist, and I'm not claiming I'm an intellectual, but I'm saying you get a good intellectual leftist ready to take on the right, they will eat them up and spit them out every time. Now, as for Anna Kasparian, and he's going to talk about how and he basically would claim that she's too afraid to take him on in the debate. She's not a real lefty anymore. She's part of the corporate media, and they're not going to argue on what it means to be on the left when now these days groups like the Young Turks want to go and placate toward the center and debate conservatives with centrist arguments. We've seen that for many years in mainstream media. And to an extent, it's happened on the right too, because you see OAN and Newsmax, because Fox News has become you know too right wing for me, but they're not as obnoxiously as right wing as they were, let's say, you know, during the Bush and Obama years. They were obnoxiously right wing, and this is in spite of Fox News cheerleading Trump, because Trump had an R beside his name during his presidency. They're going to sit there and try to cheerlead their guy the best they can. Um, really, Fox and the Young Turks have kind of gone in the same path. You know, Fox is taking a turn toward the center. Still too right wing for me. The Young Turks have taken a turn to the center. MSNBC has taken a turn to the center. CNN has always been the center. They're all turning into CNN. Fox is turning into CNN, MSNBC is turning into CNN, and Young Turks are turning into CNN. So, with regard to Anna Kasparian, I don't take her seriously, but I digress. Let's go on.
Now, I've so far managed to find the only liberals with balls, like Cornel West and Mark Lamont Hill and Dr. Michael Dyson. But it takes work, and it often takes money. So I gave these guys a budget. I said, go get me some liberal guests. Getting conservative guests will be a cinch. The conservatives never even ask who they're on with. They're like, I'll debate anyone. I'll talk to anyone. But the left doesn't like free speech. They don't like the show in general because they can't.
Okay. All righty. Let me get back to that. Okay. Again, bullshit. This whole thing about left wing hating free speech. I mean, I have said this over and over again that you have some obnoxious people on the left that have discovered that they love censorship. But let me tell you, it happens to the right too. I mean, the right loves censorship. At least when you run across leftists that love censorship, at least they're honest about it. Nothing gets under my skin more than right wingers beating their chest, claiming they're free speech warriors when push comes to shove, they are not. Look at their goon that was their president for the last 4 years. And I mentioned this yesterday about how Donald Trump wants to harmonize the libel laws of Great Britain with that of the United States, which is an assault on free speech. Again, the issue of trying to criminalize flag burning, that's a free speech issue. Um, BDS laws that criminalize criticism and political activities critical of Israel. Again, that's a free speech issue. And as I said, you talk about left hating free speech. Well, look at how Ron DeSantis in Florida applied the anti-riot laws, and a lot of these red states have decided to start enacting anti-riot laws because, frankly, we know what's up. They do not want to hear the left, and they do not want a second serving of the 1960s. Because, in the words of Yella Biafra, in one of his spoken word albums years ago, where he was talking about, I'm paraphrasing him, where they were grooving in the mud of Woodstock, and those that fought against racism, fought against war, and fought for environmental protections, to mean by the establishment. Don't ever do that again. And that's pretty much what it comes down to. And Ron DeSantis is, people like Ron DeSantis, who is not a fan of free speech, wanting to punish schools for daring to teach critical race theories, So to me, I say spare me the hubbub. Just spare me the hubbub. That's all I got to say. But let's continue, shall we? Shall we? Let's continue. Hold on. Because there's more. There is more. More, I said. More. More. And what do I mean by that? You shall see. And I'm going to play you another clip. Hold on here. And I blame this all on StreamYard. But let's me do this here because points have got to be made. All right. I'm not being very professional, am I? Okay. Alrighty. Let's try this now.
So Candace Owens was at an event recently, and she was asked about debating me. And it turns out that in many ways, she's acting like the new Ann Coulter. Everybody remembers what happened with Ann Coulter at last year's Politicon. So let's take a look, and then we'll discuss.
So I was wondering, Candace, why you didn't debate Kyle Klinsky from Secular Talk. What he says is that he was in coordination with people at Politicon, and they actually said that you weren't ready for debates.
Okay, so this is one of the weirdest internet rumors I've ever heard about myself. I didn't attend Politicon. I didn't attend Politicon because I was in my sister's wedding. So I don't know why someone thought I was debating someone in California when I had a wedding in Connecticut, but I never, it's just an internet myth.
Will you do it next year?
I don't really, is he, who's Kyle Klinsky?
Yeah, it's kind of like punching down for Candace, to be honest. So
I'd like to debate
I
AOC.
respectfully disagree.
I'll take a Democrat candidate. We're not, I mean,
I talked to Kyle. I talked to him on stage. We debated. It was fine. It was fun.
just
But
kind of like
Candace says,
trolling
Yeah.
a little bit. So there's,
Let's see here. Do this. Back again. Okay, sounds like Candace Owens is afraid to debate Alinsky. Wants to debate AOC instead. Candace, AOC is a member of Congress. She's not a political pundit. She's not a political commentator. And we all know why you want to go and weasel your way out of debating with Kyle Kulinski. Because, anybody who debates Kyle Kulinski, they're going to be defeated. I can't think of anybody who's ever debated Kyle Kulinski that's ever really have a ghost of a chance of winning. It just, and I noticed that Charlie Kirk is being trying to be diplomatic there because, he defeated Charlie Kirk in the debate, but anyway, Candace Owens is doing like Ann Coulter did, powering her way out of the debate. So, what the bloody hell is new? That's what you got to say. What the bloody hell is new? So, let's see here. Hold tight. We're going to go with this one. Okay. Give me a second here. I want to talk about what's happened about I would say about a month ago at this point. I'm just going to say that this was so awesome. So I will let you hear.
So where do you think that I'm wrong on that?
Stephen, do you know that the Spartans are like practice man love with children?
Oh, geez. Okay, so this is what's going to happen. What did I tell you? He was going to do anything he could to avoid. Oh, there he is. Oh no, Sam Cedar. What a fucking nightmare. I had no idea this was going to happen. I thought Ethan was a stand-up guy. This is where we are. Yeah, I told Dave. Remember I told you. I said I guarantee you he's going to do anything he can to avoid the debate.
Well, I just think he believes that he should debate you.
No, he doesn't. He just takes advantage of women with
mental health issues.
He's inclined to stand up and do his own fighting. It's just hilarious. What's going on to FM?
You would do anything to avoid talking to me. I think the point that you made.
Yeah, that's right.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Joe Rogan and Dave Rubin.
Yes. Here I am back again. Yeah, I guess you remember that. That was when Steven Crowder cowered his way out of the debates with Sam Cedar, and he was supposed to debate him at Politicon, but his dad basically wanted to protect his little son and did not want to get destroyed by Sam Cedar because he knew that's a giant brain that's going to go against that tiny little pebble called a brain on Steven Crowder. And he knew that was going to happen. So he did everything he could to try to avoid ever getting into a debate with Sam Cedar, to the point where he kept checking on YouTube while his program was going on, seeing that little light, that little light indicating that Sam Cedar is live streaming on his program, and because he's like, well, he felt safe right there. But Sam Cedar had the last laugh in that regard. I mean, he knew he could put him out of business if he was to actually have a debate. Or actually, to tell you the truth, I agree with what the Amazing Atheist said, that Steven Crowder could have just go ahead and had a debate, and what would have happened? The diehards who are for Sam Cedar would say, "Hey, Sam Cedar won," and the diehards for Steven Crowder would say, "Hey, Steven Crowder won." And well, we all know that Sam Cedar would have won that debate. So again, I'm just giving you another example, but I'm going to give you like the best, what I call the cream of the crop. Hold tight. This one will be the masterpiece because there is so much poetic justice. Go. Watch this.
Why is it that a bill banning abortions after a woman has been pregnant for 6 weeks is not a return to the Dark Ages? What's your answer?
My answer is something called science. Human life exists at conception. It ought to be protected. Now, back to my question to you. You purport to be an objective journalist. BBC purports to be an objective down-the-middle network. It obviously is not. It never has been. And you as a journalist are proceeding to call one side of the political aisle ignorant, barbaric, and sending us back to the Dark Ages. Why don't you just say that you're on the left? Is it so hard for you? Why can't you just be honest?
Mr.
Seriously,
Shapiro,
it's a serious question.
Mr. Shapiro, if you only knew how ridiculous that statement is, you would have said it. I just asked you a question.
And I asked you a question. You failed to answer a single one of mine. Frankly, I find this whole thing a waste of time. If you want to read the book and critique the book, why don't you read and critique the book? If you want to critique me, you can think whatever you want of me.
Why don't you
frankly,
just try and
I don't
answer
care.
the
I don't
questions?
frankly give a damn what you think of me since I've never heard of you.
And I've never heard of you until I briefed myself for this. But that's not the issue. You haven't.
Then why the hell are you interviewing me,
it's an interesting book. But my point is, your book claims that
Well, it'd be
society.
nice if you would quote it from time to time.
Your book is, well, actually, I've done so several times, and I'm about to do so again. If you would let me just finish the question. Your book
Frankly, I
claims
don't think
that society
honestly,
is turning its back
sir,
on Judeo-Christian values.
Yeah, this
What are those values? What are the values it's turning its back on?
I'm not inclined to continue an interview with a person as badly motivated as you as an interview.
Wow.
So I think we're done here. I appreciate your time.
All right. Well, thank you for your time and for showing that anger is not part of American. Shapiro, we'll say goodbye.
You want to know why that was the cream of the crop right there of all the video segments? You have Ben Shapiro, who thinks he's smarter than everyone. And just because you can sit there and talk 100 miles an hour on a college campus where you look just as young as the kids out there on the campus, even though you're speeding toward 40, just because you can sit there and talk 100 miles an hour doesn't make you a fucking intellectual. Andrew Neil is basically the you can almost say that he's the Bill O'Reilly of British politics. He's a conservative. He's a political conservative. He's the Bill O'Reilly of British politics. He's the Tucker Carlson of British politics. Except he's smarter than Bill O'Reilly. He's smarter than Sean Hannity. He's smarter than those goons from Fox. But the thing about it is that Andrew Neil, who is pretty much a staunch conservative, a staunch Tory, you heard Ben Shapiro said, admit that you're on the left. Well, the Overton window shifts a little further left in the UK compared to here. And that's true. But the thing about it is that Ben Shapiro spends so much time getting to own little college kids on campus who don't know any better. Or he goes on these right-wing channels where they just, smother him with softball questions. So when he's actually in the real world being questioned in an interview, he gets hostile. And that's basically my point right there. Is that these people, they claim to be so intellectual. And I'm not saying that myself being on the left, I'm not saying I'm an intellectual. Well, I mean, I do speak from my heart, and I do speak from life experience, and I speak basically from research. What's best for America and the world, and what these guys, the Gavin McInnes and the Candace Owens and the Ben Shapiro's of the world don't realize is that that model of theirs is pretty much outdated, and they can't debate. I mean, really, they're operating on pre-Trump Republican politics from a decade ago, on the Obama years. That's really what they're operating on. We got to go and defend tax cuts for the wealthy. We got to go and defend corporations. We got to go and stop universal health care, stop socialism. You got to, just everything, guns, gay marriage, supporting Israel without questions, and everything that comes out of Fox News is factual. Come on, give me a break. Give me a freaking break. That model is done for, kaput. I mean, not that I want to give advice to conservatives today, especially younger conservatives like your Steven Crowder, your Gavin McInnes, your Candace Owens, and Ben Shapiro's. And frankly, Gavin McInnes should know better because he's Scottish, from my understanding, born in Scotland. He should know better. Not saying that he has to be, I'm not saying that he has to be Arthur Scargill, or he has to be Tony Benn, or he has to be Jeremy Corbyn, but he could be just a normal Brit, in the sense that, he could be a Tory that's level-headed and slightly to the left of the American Democrat. Oh, no. He has to copy the ass backwards right-wing mentality that exists here in the United States. And then, Candace Owens, I found out that she's a grifter, and he really doesn't say anything. Just even Crowder. He's a moron. But the only funny thing he's ever done was imitate Cenk Uygur. That was funny. And Ben Shapiro, he's basically Mark Levin at the age of, he looks like, he just reminds me of Mark Levin as a kid. So these people are so they're being shielded by big money, and they're the ones that don't want to debate the left, and because their asses will be defeated once the ball gets rolling. Just keep watching and observe. Anyway, if you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you disagree with what I have to say, comment anyway. We'll have a conversation. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to go ahead and create your own platform, utilize it, because we're the muckrakers of our time. Feel free to hit that subscribe button, that notification bell, and until next time, I am American Social Democracy. Peace. Class struggle yesterday, class struggle today, class struggle tomorrow, and class struggle until we achieve full economic and social justice for all.